Now let's talk about the lead function. Let me run the query and then I will explain you the output. So I have partitioned the rows, okay, and order by salary and lead, okay. So if you see the parameters in the lead function, so we are having three parameters. One is the salary. So lead, as the name suggests, what we are going to calculate is for each row we are going to calculate the salary of the leading row, right? Because we have put the salary as a parameter. So we are going to put the salary of the leading row of the current row. The leading row, that is the row that is leading to the current row. We are going to get the salary of that particular row, right? The second argument is define. The second argument defines actually that till how many leading rows you want to go. I mean, should it go if let's say it is 1, then it will go to the first leading row. If let's say you have defined it to 2, if the second argument is 2, then it is going to it will actually evaluate the salary of the row which is not the first row actually, which is the second row. So the second row, second leading row, right? It is going to pick the salary of the second leading row. Let's understand the output of this. Yeah, so there is one parameter as well, right? Third parameter denotes if let's say we are having null as a salary, right, on the leading rows, then it is going to put the 0 as the default value for that particular. It is going to evaluate to 0. So the default behavior, whatever we want in the default, I mean, if we want, whenever we are getting null, we can, you know, instruct lead function to evaluate to a default value if it is getting null, right? Let's try to understand the output. So let's try to understand the output over here. So this is the first partition having only the one row. So as in this particular partition, for this particular row, we are not having any leading row. So it is going to evaluate as null. And as we have defined that whenever you are getting salary as null, then you need to put as 0. So this is the default value that we are going to assign in case it gets any null value. So it will evaluate 0, right? Let's talk about the next partition. We are having two rows in this particular partition. So it is going to have two rows in this particular partition, right? We are having two rows in this particular partition. When it is going to calculate the lead function on the first row, what it is going to check? It is going to check that what is the leading row for this particular row. So the leading row for this particular row is this, and it is going to pick the salary of the leading row. So the salary of the leading row is 13,000, so it is going to put over here 13,000. When it calculates the function value for the second row in this partition, that is this row, right? So as we are not having any leading row for this particular row, so we will get the null as the salary. And as we have mentioned that whenever you are getting null value for the salary, you put it as 0. So the lead will calculate as 0, right? Let's talk about the next partition. Let's talk about the first row of this particular partition. So the leading row for this row will be this row, and the salary of this leading row will be 26000, right? When it is similarly, it will calculate for the second row. The leading row is this, so the salary of the leading row is 2800, right? So it is going to calculate like this. Let's change uh, here. Let's do some change over here. Instead of putting 1, I am putting 2. And let's check the behavior of the function, lead function. Okay. So now, as I have told you that this the second argument defines that whether you want to which leading row you are actually going to consider. So whether you are going to consider the first leading row, you are going to consider the second leading row, you are going to consider the third leading row. So as I have put over here 2. So it is going to consider. So it is going to consider the. Uh, so in the next partition, which is having the department number as 20, let's talk about the first row. Okay. So for the first row, it is going to check the second leading row, right? So this is the first leading row for this row, and the second leading row is not there, right? Because we cannot go beyond this particular partition, right? So let's talk about the third partition. Okay. So in this particular partition, if you see for the first row, it will check the second leading row, right? So this is the first leading row and this is the second leading row, right? And it is going to pick the salary of this second leading row and put over here, right? Similarly for the second row, right? It is going to check the second leading row. So first leading row for this row is this. Second leading row for this row is this. So it is going to pick the salary from here and put over here, right? So this way it is going to calculate the salary for each row. I mean the lead function for each row, right? Let's talk about this row. So for this row, the second leading salary row is, so first leading row is this, second leading row is this, so it is going to pick this salary and put over here, right? Let's talk about this row. For this row, the first leading row is this, the second leading row is not there, it is null, so it is going to pick but as 0, because we have said that whenever you encounter as a null, put over there as 0, right? So for the last row in this partition, it is going to check the second leading row. So there is no first leading row and second leading row over here. So it is going to come out as null, and as the null, for null we have defined that put 0. So it is going to put 0 over here, right? So that's the behavior of the leading function, right? Same way there is a function leg. Only the difference is that instead of checking the leading rows, it is going to check the preceding rows, right? For example, for the first row, it is going to check the first preceding row. There is no first preceding row, so the value will come out as null. And as we said that if you get null, put 0. So it is going to evaluate to 0. Let's talk about this particular partition. So for the first row, the preceding row is nothing, right? So it is going to pick the, okay, I'm sorry, we have not used partition by close over here, right? So it is going to consider the whole 14 rows as one partition. So for the second row, it is going to check the one preceding row, which is this, and put the salary of that particular row over here. For this row, one preceding row, it will check the first preceding row and put the salary over here like this, right? So that's all about the analytical functions. Okay, thank you so much.